Okay, so we're looking at an IELTS Task 2 essay, and our pattern is discuss advantages and disadvantages, and then do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? So pros and cons, and which do you agree with? Do you think there are more pros or do you think there are more cons? So let's take a look at our topic. In some countries, young people are encouraged to work or travel for a year between finishing high school and starting university studies. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages for young people who decide to do this. So I don't know how common it is in Korea for people to work or travel for a year. So in the UK, it's quite common, and we call it a gap year. You could also call it taking a year out. And then either gap year or year out. And those are the two most common ways to say it. So let's take a look and see what this candidate did. There are some controversial issues about why some people suggest getting experience with work or travel for a year to young generations who just graduated high school before starting higher education. Okay, I don't know if you could hear from me reading that, but that sentence is too long. Okay, they need to break that sentence up. And then saying there are some controversial issues about why some people, it's better just to say the issue of young people taking a gap year before university is controversial. Okay, so I would probably phrase it like that. And then it's much shorter, it's easier. This one is a little bit too confusing to read. The following details can explain the merits and demerits of this topic. Rather than saying the following details, I would just say, you need to give me your opinion. So I was saying like the following essay will evaluate, and I would probably just say the positives and negatives of this, rather than saying merits and demerits. That sounds a little bit strange to say the merits and demerits. And it's quite American, to be honest. I don't think anyone in the UK would ever naturally say demerit, which doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but I would stick to positives and negatives because it's a little bit more formal than merits and demerits. So they need to give me, this kind of really needs to give me a thesis statement. Okay, so they've not given me their opinion in their introduction, and that's very important to do. So let's look at the body one. When it comes to advantages, it could be a great experience for the rest of their life. As you might know, studying at university is not compulsory for people in many countries, including my country. In other words, if there is a student who does not have a clear vision, the student does not have to follow others who decide to go to university. Therefore, having those experiences can help these students. Okay, those experiences, too vague. Be more specific or give an example. So what types of experiences are you talking about? Like working, studying, traveling to new countries? Okay, you need to give me more detail and examples at the start of this paragraph. In addition, they can change their future more suitably through those experiences. Again, give me an example. So being many merits, that is why many young people, we would never say young generations like this, decide to have those experiences during that period. So what the logic and argument of this is okay, but what this essay really is lacking, and I've said it twice, is examples and specifics. Okay, you can make up your examples. They don't have to be true. You can lie, and you can say, like, according to a survey by the Korean daily newspaper, they found that 100% of people who took a gap year did not regret it, or something like that. So specifics, you can give anecdotes from your own life, your own experiences, or you can sort of make up ones to talk about. As far as I am concerned, some people have a different mindset, which is not having those experiences before studying at university is better for young generations who finished high school. Okay, this sentence doesn't really make sense. As far as I am concerned, okay, then you need to give your own opinion. Okay, but this isn't an opinion. You're describing what other people think. Okay, I don't know who these some people are. That's too vague. Are you talking about the students, or are you talking about just people in general? Which is not having after not having those experiences, maybe before studying at university. It's better for young generations who finished high school. Unclear. I'm not really sure what they're trying to say in the sentence. The sentence is too long. I'm not sure who the subject is. I'm not sure who they're talking about. They need to be much more specific. So this is because how to spend time in life is absolutely important, especially for young generations. Again, people from younger generations, you can be more specific. We give them names. You can talk about Generation Z, call them Gen Zs, or we could talk about millennials. Or you could talk about current high school. So the current high school class group. After having those experiences, again, what experiences? Some students even lost their way and get confused in their life. Furthermore, they can get those experiences even during studying at university. What I mean is that getting those experiences when young generations are more mature is a safe decision for them. Again, getting those experiences, having those experiences, not having those experiences, it's kind of repetitive. If you look at the number of times that they say the same phrase over and over. 4 times. And they've not told me what they are specifically. So they want to give me an example. For example, having a part-time job for a year can teach you maturity, time management, organization, social skills. Okay, so to be much more specific. And then this is too opposite to what they just said in the previous paragraph. Previously, they're saying that it can help you figure out what you want to do in life, right? So they've got this argument here where they're saying the student, they can have experiences, they can change their experience more suitably. They can have those experiences, can help people who don't have a clear vision. And then in this paragraph, they're saying they can lose their way and get confused. Okay, so this needs to be explained a little bit more. So why is it more dangerous to be confused? Why is that worse? Why is the risk of having some students become confused worse than the students who find out what they want to do? To sum up, it is not absurd that having those experiences can help the future of young people. However, this could also affect their life in a negative way. To all appearances, making a suitable decision can always never be overlooked in the pursuit of happiness. This doesn't make, I don't know what this means. Can always never be overlooked in the pursuit of making a suitable decision. It's too vague. I can't imagine what you're trying to say. I would tell the student this needs to be rephrased. And I'm a little bit confused because it doesn't feel like it logically follows on from what they've talked about. So I would say mainly they've not fully explained themselves or explained their logic. They've not linked their ideas together, which they need to do. And they've not supported with examples of what they're talking about. So if they just had a couple of examples of what they meant, it would help me understand what they're trying to talk about. So in terms of task achievement, it's just too vague and sort of hard to follow. They have done the basics of what they were asked to do. So I sort of go for 5.5, I guess, but it's not been fully explained or extended. Cohesion and coherence, I would probably give a 5 because it doesn't feel logical because I'm finding it hard to follow what they were saying. In terms of vocabulary, I think the vocabulary is a little bit repetitive, but it's kind of adequate. So I'll probably give a 5 for vocabulary. And then grammar, the sentence structure is the main thing. Okay, it's the sentences. Sometimes they're too long and they're too vague. Okay, I would recommend having shorter, more specific and targeted sentences. So I'd probably give a 5 for grammar. So I think this is probably coming out at an overall 5 just because it's hard to follow the logic and what they actually mean. I think this and this score could definitely increase if they were just a bit more focused and they gave examples of what they meant. And then vocabulary could definitely go up if they used more variety and they weren't quite so repetitive. They've understood the topic. They've made a good effort at discussing it. But I think that there's a lot of ways this candidate can improve and they show a lot of promise.